Welcome to MyACT daily show in Cannes. This is our last show. We are Friday, I think. Yes, we are Friday. And today in the ACT Responsible Hall, we have the celebration of the 70th anniversary of the Cannes Lions. And I'm here with Tomas Gonsorcik from DDB. And I'm happy to introduce him as a new ACT Advisory Board member. Tomas, what made you come to ACT Responsible? Join us.
Well, thank you for having me. I think it's the mission and the way you bring the various agencies, stakeholders, and partners together on a really great mission. So thank you for having me.
Well, Tomas, we can't do it if you're not there, all of you. And DDB was with ACT Responsible for a very long time, left for a little while, and we're so happy to have you back. So at the ACT Advisory Board that you just joined, we have people from different agencies, different network, and we talk about advertising responsibility. How do you see the responsibility of your mission at DDB? How do you take your responsibility, and how, in general, do you see where should the advertising work more to be more responsible? Where should we be aware more? What's your opinion there?
Nice. It's a good Friday morning question.
Sorry.
This is great. Look, I mean, the way I see it, I think as marketers, we have great opportunity and responsibility in the way we connect brands to people around the world. And I think probably our biggest job is to bridge the people inside our clients' organizations that are in charge of sustainability efforts with the marketers that want to talk about all the sustainability efforts, and to ensure that what comes out, what consumers see as acts and statements, is supported with actual real change.
Yeah. And do you have in your network around you the tools to best address this subject? Do you have partners or outside experts you can rely on when you start a strategy or think of strategy for a client?
Well, it's anything from, I think, of course, the great work that you do, you do, as well as the other industry bodies. But then when I think of a modern marketer inside DDB, the creative talent, the strategy talent, I think it's an essential part of our toolkit, you know, to both be able to lead the conversation in a responsible way and then come up with creative solutions that deliver on the promise. But I think we've gotten to a point where I think it's an expectation of what the modern creative, what the modern strategies should do, as opposed to, say, a new framework that we're introducing. Because I think we've really, you see it in the work here this week, that we've really moved past the stage of showing what's possible. And I think the industry is really interested in scalable solutions.
And do you have any ideas, any examples? I'm sorry if you don't have yet any example right now. You just can't tell me, no, I don't have right now. We're Friday. It's too much. Do you have any examples in your head of campaigns that, yeah, you thought, yeah, you know, that this is really doing it?
No, I mean, like, you know, I love the work, so I think it's always in my head.
Yeah.
I'll start with something from our team in the North, from DDB, and it's for our client Vattenfall. It's the campaign's called the Vehicle of Change.
Yeah.
And it's a project that's specifically focused on pointing at the carbon footprint of the production of modern vehicles, whether they're electric vehicles or combustion engine vehicles. And the campaign is focused on showing what it would take to source all of the component pieces of a motorcycle from net zero supply chain. And I think that in itself is both a conceptual idea and a platform for collaboration between various manufacturers that ends up with a real solution that can be scaled and applied to any production process out there. Now, that to me is a great example of creativity that is not just a piece of communication. It's a big idea that can show the public what is possible, but then it can sort of create real sustainable long-term change.
Yeah, and I had a conversation last year actually here with MyACT from the UN, and he was actually saying exactly the same thing. We can see, before we could see that, promoting maybe good practices and stuff, but sometimes it wasn't scalable. Now we're really looking at scalable things, and that's what they are looking for at the Cannes Lion SDG category. I had another question. Would you say that more and more of your clients are asking you to think like this, or would you say that you are advising more and more your client to think like this? Where is it coming from?
I think it's top of everyone's agenda. I think it's interesting when you think of the current just economic climate. I think you would expect that it goes down the priority list. But I think it's as important as it's ever been. I think for me personally, it's very important as a young leader in this industry to build a business culture and a work culture that has got the future in mind and building good for the future. So for me, it's personally very important, and it's part of every conversation that I would have. But I think our clients understand that it's both good business to decarbonize the way they operate, and then secondly, it's a very important aspect of what consumers expect of them. It's a big part of how consumers decide who to buy from, which brands to interact with. So they understand it's really important, not just as part of how they operate, but what they communicate out into the world. How that happens, well, you have to, of course, consider things like greenwashing and all of those just good hygiene aspects. But I think it's definitely part of every conversation.
We have an idea here in France that Europe is more focused on environment and the US more focused on inclusion and diversity. Do you see the same thing on your side of the sea?
I think it's by and large I would agree. I think to me the interesting part is I think what different cultures and different environments can learn from one another. I see it more as where innovation is happening, and of course in Europe a lot of the sustainability effort is driven both morally and through regulation. So I think there's a lot of innovation that's happening in business in that space. I think US can learn from that, and many of our clients are looking to their European competitors or partners to see what is possible, and vice versa. I think, of course, the racial injustice and inequality issues in the US are creating massive debate, massive change in hiring practices, how brands exist and operate in the world. And I think the rest of the world can learn from that as well.
Yeah. So if I hear you well about Europe, you're saying that because there is regulations on environmental issues, we're moving faster.
I think it's a combination of, in my mind, it's regulation, but also I think the society and the moral values are definitely pushing organizations to be a lot more transparent and focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are, where are you from?
I'm from Slovakia, but I've been in New York for 9 years. Yeah.
But you spend a lot of your years in Slovakia. How is it to integrate in the US environment? Do you feel home now there?
I love it. I mean, I think it's a great place. New York is wonderful. I love working in the US environment. I think what I really appreciate about the US, just given the scale of the economy and the scale of ambition that comes from many of the companies there, I think you can dream bigger.
Yeah,
I think
the American dream.
A lot of companies, I think, fail very hard, and then everyone learns from that and moves forward. There's something quite beautiful about just the creative destruction that happens there. I think anyone around the world can benefit from, and also importantly, given the size of the economy and just the size of the cultural impact that US has around the world, I think it's good. It's a great place to form, say, opinions on sustainability or form opinions on inclusion, because hopefully we are doing things that can scale around the world as well.
So I'm happy because I'm coming to New York in October. So I hope we'll have. We'll find some ways to, spread the word together about, all that, what we have, what you're doing around sustainability. Thanks a lot. I think I have Sophie and Pascal coming in.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, hello. Hi, Tomas. Hi, Isa. I'm fine.
Hi, we just want to thank everybody, right? We just want to say we had a great week. We had a great week. We celebrated creativity for good. We had amazing interviews with amazing people that are really changing the world. So we want to thank you for being the last on our plateau. You know, we want to say thank you to Pascal too.
Thank you to Pascal. Thank you to the supporters and sponsors and IAA, Euronews, the media leader, Accor. Oui. Hotel Gallery. So thank you to everyone. And yes, the media leader, Pascal. Do you want to have the last words?
Yes.
Yeah, it was an amazing, really amazing week, and so intense and so much energy. So now it's less intense and we have no more energy. But I just want to say something from yesterday, your tributes. It was really, really huge. You make an incredible work. With the lineup was so wow. Nobody else in the Cannes Lions are able to have this kind of lineup, even during the Lions, with the big boss of the industry all together on the beach with us. And thank you very much, girls, because thank you. Just thank you.
Merci. Merci. See you soon on MyACT. We were live from Act Responsible Hall in the Palais des Festivals at the heart of the Lions for the 70th anniversary. So happy birthday, the Cannes Lions.
Happy birthday.